Draft day. Welcome, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. It is the greatest day of the year. I got Nate and Ryan with me tonight. Boys, we are here for draft day. Ooh, I kind of like
Ooh,
that.
I like the
Yeah,
three
right there.
split. This
Look
is
at that.
professional. Yes.
I like that. I like that split. I feel like we're all in the Todd McShay, Mel Kiper, Matt Miller kind of zone right here because that's what tonight's about. Here in the ding, booing Roger Goodell and loving the pick that your team is going to make while you're on the clock. You guys get a pick tonight. I don't get a pick tonight, so I'm just ready to talk some draft with you guys. So
Absolutely.
how do you guys feel? Tennessee, Philly, both picking back to back, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, 10 and 11.
Yeah, 10, 11.
Snipe
maybe a trade potentially in the future. We don't know. Not with each other, but
yeah, we can talk a little trade buzz going on here. I think we'll start off exactly to where our teams don't need Ryan, but potentially where Tennessee might be looking is the quarterbacks. The talk of the draft. Every draft, you need to have a franchise quarterback. And we had a nice significant trade. Bears did very, very well. This is a little bit old news, but Carolina is on the clock, going to take a quarterback. Nate, who do you feel is coming off the board at 1?
Everybody knows Bryce Young's coming off the board at 1 for Carolina. That's just a no-brainer there. It's really what happens after Bryce Young. Carolina's trying to rebuild. They have a lot of good parts on defense for the last couple of years, and offensively, they're trying to build something there with their new head coach and their new system. So we need a new quarterback that you can trust. Bryce Young is the most polished and ready quarterback. So when it comes to QBs and teams' needs and wants, that's just a no-brainer. I'm pretty sure Ryan can agree with me on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Safest floor in a very winnable division. So Carolina moving up to 1 can really make themselves a play for that division immediately by getting their franchise guy, hopefully.
Yeah, he's got all the tangibles to be a franchise guy. His only negative is his size. He's short, but he's better than Kyler Murray ever. Yeah. So, and he's short, and he's what 5'10". He can put a few more pounds on muscle wise for protection, but
I think he's going to end up playing around 195, 193 to 195 will probably be his playing weight. I know he put in a lot of weight for his weigh-in for.
I think if he can get to 193, I think he can put 7 more pounds on, get to 200, and start camp at 200, and you end up at 190 anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think the 200 mark for him, he's not going to lose any agility or speed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Bryce Young, that's one. It's a no-brainer. Everybody and their sister knows that one. Now is the fun part. Quarterback talk. Where's the rest of the top, 6 quarterbacks going?
This is the mystery of the draft, and right now it seemed like it was Young and CJ Stroud the whole entire time, but they've just been dogging my boy CJ for a week now when it came out of nowhere. He's stiffing the Manning camp. His analytic test was terrible, horrible. Get him out of here. Will Levis, who couldn't beat Sean Clifford out at Penn State for 2 years. Not a shot at Penn State, just saying, just stating a fact. He couldn't beat Sean Clifford out and had to transfer.
Now we're talking about him at potentially 2.
Looking at Levis at 2, and then CJ's going down to there's Orlovsky today was pre-recorded as saying on Tuesday that watch out for the Lions at what are they at 6 or 7? Watch out for the Lions to take Stroud, and it is just a whirlwind. Can Stroud go at 2? Can Stroud go at 11.
There's
Tennessee's at 11.
You could see Lions at 6, Tennessee. You could even see the Falcons pulling the trigger at 8.
Yeah, like, is Desmond Ridder really the guy? Like, if C.J. Stroud's there, you're going to tell me Atlanta wants to go with Desmond Ridder over C.J. Stroud? Like,
No.
I don't buy the C.J. free falling narrative that's coming out here, and clearly Ryan, you don't believe it either. So, Nate,
No.
what do you think? Is C.J. Stroud actually going to free fall, or is Jim Irsay putting out this stuff so he can get him at 4?
I mean, it's a game within a game.
Everyone's bored.
Everybody wants what they can get, right, and try to position themselves. I don't think, Stroud is the cognitive test. I think, if anything, if he probably took it again, he would get a 60 or something on it. I felt like, these guys only take it once.
Mm-hmm.
And Will Levis had a 90-something%. Well,
listen, at the end of the day, go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, sorry. And it's just film talks, man. Like, watch the film. Like, it's not like Ryan Day and Ohio State are running some prep sports high school offense out there for the last couple of years. Like, they're running complex offensive schemes. Like, he has to make his decisions. And yeah, is he surrounded by weapons? Of course he is. Those guys are NFL caliber guys. He'll be surrounded by NFL caliber guys in the pros. Like the Stroud spiral is making me laugh, because if these people eat it up, I'm looking at the Titans probably getting him at 11.
Yeah,
and be very happy.
That would make me very happy.
Quarterback falling down the board.
Yeah, very happy.
The narrative of Stroud playing with he's playing with NFL ready guys. Like, do people realize that Bryce Young plays at Alabama, and Alabama also produces talent at the same level as Ohio State, or even better? I mean, offensively, Ohio State's had a good couple years, but look at that offense that Tua and Mac Jones had. Like, we're talking Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, all those guys, and no one said, oh, well, Tua's got really good NFL talent around him. Like, no, that wasn't a narrative. It's literally just spinning it so you can get who you want. And the whole Manning passing academy thing, I heard that once and no one really talked about it. Like, that's why I think that this is a Jim Irsay thing. Like, it seems like Levis is the guy for him all along, because it's like, hey, that's Peyton Manning. He's large. He's large and he's in charge. He's 6'4", 240 pounds, rocket arm. The Stanford nerd Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
All about that. But I think C.J. Stroud could go in to Indianapolis, start immediately, and he's got talent around him. He's got an all pro guard. He's got a good offensive line entirely.
Running game.
He's got receivers like Pittman Jr. there. Like, they have the ability to be a good offense in a relatively weak division. I mean, for depending on what Tennessee does at quarterback,
Jaguars are
going to be competitive. The Jaguars are good. Do they take a step back in Peterson's second year? Like, what's going on with some of their skill players? Like, health is always a big concern. But that's a division that if you plug C.J. Stroud in, you might be competing for a wild card spot.
Yeah, I mean, they're a few puzzle pieces away, the Colts, and that's why they fired Frank Wright. Mm-hmm. I mean, they fired Frank who'd they hire? I can't remember who they hired. They hired
Shane Steichen.
Yeah, Steichen.
Philly's OC.
He's an OC, right? Yeah. So in Philly's OC. I mean, look at Philly last year. They did a lot of dynamic things on offense with the pieces that they had. So now an OC moving to an HC, a little different. Mm-hmm. But if he manages the offense and lets the defensive coaches coach their thing in year one and kind of use experienced coaches around him, he'll be fine. Mm-hmm. A lot of the young coaches, like McDaniels, in Miami. He did a fine job because he and his staff ran the offense and let the defensive guys do their thing. And then he was able to obviously get more and more of that coaching voice throughout the year, and his culture started building off of that. You can tell him like dancing around in practice and having a good time. So it'll be kind of the same thing with the Colts, hopefully. It just makes no sense that Stroud is on the level playing field as Levis right now.
No.
If the Colts if they want to gamble and get a big, strong white boy like they have the last franchise quarterback times they could go right ahead.
I mean, they tried to revive Carson Wentz too. I mean, I think Ryan knows about the Carson Wentz experience. You know, the Browns had a theory that they could do the Carson Wentz experience, and then luckily traded the pick to Philly, so they could take him instead. But they tried to go, Manning to Andrew Luck, and then hey, Carson Wentz kind of that big white guy, like maybe we can revive him. Doesn't work out, so like Levis going to them, is crazy.
I will say with this, Levis did have a terrible offensive coordinator last year, but he still threw the ball into coverage.
Yeah, but I there's so much raw talent there, and like you need to like be able to sit and learn. I don't think that you can just plug him in and expect it to go well. So it's like that's kind of what Levis needs, which is perfect way to transition into the next quarterback, a guy that is just so much raw talent, and Anthony Richardson. He's our next guy, and I don't understand why the talk about Stroud falling, like Stroud might not get picked in the top 12. Like Anthony Richardson's going to get picked in the top 12. Like you're going to tell me that like Stroud isn't as good as Anthony Richardson? I mean, I'm not a huge AR-15 guy. He struggled in so many of those big games last year at Florida. I mean, you watched him, Ryan. Like, where is AR-15 going to go to you? That's a good fit.
Yeah. So the best fit wise, it's kind of died down the last week or so, but I would have said Colts based on Steichen running, probably an ideal offense with Hurts the year before. Yeah. Richardson, a little bit different of a player, but he's got the cannon of an arm, which really are the big throws that Hurts was making were deep throws or slants across the middle, which you can learn the slants across the middle, but he has the running upside that Hurts has. He's got the gifted athletic ability. Steichen knows how to use a run-first quarterback, and that offense has all the pieces already outside of a mobile QB. You got Jonathan Taylor, who would be great in an RPO. You've got Pittman, probably need another receiver on the outside as well, someone with a little more speed to get downfield for him. But in my opinion, I would have said Colts. But the way it's falling, I don't know where he goes next.
I have a perfect scenario, which I think I had it in my mock, is I think that Anthony Richardson is perfect for Seattle. I think that they gave Seattle gave Geno a fair contract that he earned last year, but it's a 3-year deal, and essentially it's like $1.5 million guaranteed. It's like $65 million guaranteed. So you let him come in, let Geno play this year, let him prove that it wasn't a fluke deal. And then, you get AR-15 that can just sit there and learn. And it's like a perfect transition. Like if Geno's not the guy, like it doesn't put pressure into throwing AR-15 in there immediately. He can learn and adjust. And, Geno is a little bit mobile. I mean, he's a little bit older because he's been in the league for like 10 years now. It's hard to wrap my head around that, but Geno's bounced around so much. Like he was more mobile coming out of college. He's still mobile now, but it's not like his play style. He's not elusive like Lamar and what AR-15 can bring to the table. But you can do some of that RPO stuff too in Seattle. So, Nate, you got anything on AR-15 and a good fit?
Just raw talent. Just he's six. How tall is he? 6'5"?
Yeah, 6'4", 6'5".
6'4", 6'5", what, 230, 240, ran a 4.4.
You can't teach that.
His acceleration is insane. You can't teach those just God-given talented things. Yeah. And then, like, look what he did in the LSU game. Like, he went 70 yards, just like nothing. No one could touch him.
Mm-hmm.
He made some good throws in that game. His best throwing game was against Tennessee. I mean, he was like 29 for 34. Like 300 something yards passing, like 2 touchdowns. So he can make decisions in games. I don't think his offensive line was the best at last year. It was also a new system, right? He went from Dan Mullen to Coach. What's his name? Yeah, I know. Yeah, Coach Napier, who's not a bad coach, it's just a new system. And previously they lost a lot of talent to the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he did his best. I think if he goes to the right system, the right OC, he's proven enough. Like the Utah game, he looked great in that game. There's a few games he did really well. The Georgia game, after they got their nerves out of them, they came back.
Yep.
And he played very well in that Georgia game. So he's played against really good defenses in the SEC. He did a good year. He can throw it a country mile. He can run it. It's just his decision making. I think Seattle would be a good landing spot, like you said, to learn under Geno. Take their time, talent around him there. I mean, he could end up in Atlanta. He could also end up in Tampa.
Yeah, I was thinking Tampa too off the top of my head.
Like Tampa would be a phenomenal spot for him.
Just a home.
I mean, he could end up. I mean, honestly, if there's a need and someone doesn't see, the value of other players, they might take him. I just don't think he's a day one starter. He's just not a day one starter to me. I'm not going to hand him the reins.
Yeah.
But he is by far the most talented quarterback with the highest potential, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He could be a Cam Newton style, like Cam's like MVP years. It just needs the right coach, and he needs the right coach, and he needs the right system and patience. They don't need to rush him. So, but yeah, he's there. We can segue probably into the next guy.
Yeah, I think those 4 guys are locked into being first round picks that we've covered. The last one of the quarterbacks that are getting buzz, it's kind of picked up in the last 2 weeks, is your guy in Tennessee, Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker seems to me that I think he made his way into the first round. It seems very likely that Hendon Hooker will be picked in the first round. I don't know, as I want to say it's as early as 11. I don't buy the slide on Stroud. So we're going to get young Stroud, AR-15, and Will Levis off the board. I think 1 through 10, all those guys.
Let's be normal here. Like, let's not hype the talk. Hook is a good quarterback. He's proven that every year he's progressed further and further. He's older, so he's like a 25-year-old kind of guy. He's been in 2 different systems in college, and he excelled in both of them. Now the question is can he be a pro style guy? Can he only run a spread style offense where he has to make fast decisions quickly with a bunch of weapons around him like an Andy Reid offense? Then again, there's only one Andy Reid, so a lot of the league is moving towards that college offense, looking into it more, spreading the wide receivers past the hashes, and also wide splits for linemen to open up those running lanes, which helps these quarterbacks because these linebackers are going to have to make quick decisions just as fast as the quarterbacks. But like Hooker said in his interviews, I had 3 decisions to make. It's not my fault. My wide receiver is wide open.
Right.
Like he said that to them, and he's like, "It's not my fault. Like my guys are good." And I threw it right to him. Like, look at that. Like, look at the Bama game. We had Hyatt, Tillman, Brew McCoy, Princeton. We had all those guys wide open against Bama.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that is just because Josh is a freaking genius.
Mm-hmm.
But he still made those. He still made those calls. He still
Mm-hmm.
made those plays. And when in that last 2 minutes, when they needed to kick a field goal to win, he put the team on his back. He's a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these NFL coaches, the reason why he even is considered in the first round isn't because of the tangibles or his talent, it's because of his leadership. A lot of them are saying that guy's a pro. They're interviewing him. Multiple guys are interviewing him and saying, we like him. He's a pro. Not everybody's saying that about the other quarterbacks. That's a skill that we learned over time, but he is a leader, and they want those franchise leaders.
Well, and that's why I think that there's a ceiling that he gets picked at 11 in Tennessee, and if he doesn't, there is a big gap on teams that'll take a first round quarterback. But the big thing in the NFL is that end of the first round to trade back up in the first round. If you have an early one of those second round picks, it doesn't take a lot to pop back in to get that fifth year option. Obviously, Booker has the injury, and he more than likely isn't going to be able to step onto an NFL field this year, just because of rehab and the time of the injury last year.
And he said with his rehab, he will be ready for camp.
Yeah, but I think
he's not going to be like.
Yeah, I don't think it's realistic to be a day one starter. But could he play like week 17, like week 18 when a team's got their seed locked up? Like potentially. But I think that there's a chance that there's a high chance that a team takes him in the first round, trades back up late first, like. Some of these teams that got older, the Rams, could try to sneak back in and grab him? Like there's plenty of options for it. I think
did read today as well. The Vikings have a potential at 21 with him.
Yeah,
they liked their interview with him. They liked his leadership ability. They loved his film. They have Jefferson. They have Thielen. Oh no, Thielen was the Panthers now. They have other wide receivers too, and like they were
KJ Osborne,
they got guys. He could sit under Kirk Cousins and learn.
Absolutely. I'm thinking 5 on Thursday night, which would be tonight by the time
if they did five
quarterbacks.
If there was 5 quarterbacks in the first round and 4 in the SEC, like that's wild to me. That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
It just proves it's just like you don't have to be the best quarterback in college. You just got to be big with a big arm. And it's like next year, okay, we know Caleb Williams coming out next year. We also know Cade May's coming out next year. Not Cade May, May kid from But so is Joe Milton, who looks just like Anthony Richardson. Is he going to be a number 1 because he's huge and he can throw it 80 yards? Like it's just like these. I just laugh. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. That was a good quarterback segment. We can transition probably. Is there a surprise quarterback that we think would go in the second round or third round that would give some teams some playing time maybe? Or like
right now, there's nothing that jumps off for me. That kid from Division 2 is going to probably get picked. I don't know if you saw that story. It was like a little small ESPN documentary. I forget what his name was, but it was a really, really nice story. All 30, I think 28 teams were at his pro day. Looks to me like a day 3 pick, but I don't see much. Yeah. I don't see a Brock Purdy in this draft to me right now.
I think there is. I think the what's his name? Fresno State.
Oh, Jake Hayner.
Yeah, he's really good.
And I'd probably throw out there, probably day 3 guy.
Yeah. It's so hard to predict a Brock Purdy. Because I mean the guy
happened.
started for 4 years at Iowa State. I mean, I will
they're
say,
good.
I will. Well, actually, here is my Brock Purdy
I have one name too,
potential.
so I'll go after you.
If you say Aiden O'Connell, I'm gonna be pissed. Okay.
Nope.
Purdue's Aiden O'Connell has the potential.
They scored like 8 points a game.
Huh?
Purdue scored like 8 points a game.
No, that's because they all left last year.
Yeah.
The previous year, Aiden was nasty.
Aiden's got some. He's got some juice to him. He's a good player.
Is he gonna get drafted?
I would say probably day 3.
Day 3, round 6 or something. He's
Well,
good.
Browns will probably take him now because I said that. So
Yeah.
My guy, and I'm sure Nate, you'll love this, but the guy I'd probably say is Bennett, Stenson Bennett. Unfortunately,
Oh, I forgot about Stetson.
like he's not the most physically gifted prospect, but the dude wins.
yeah, he
He
can
translates. He wins.
can
He makes
throw-
a smart
can throw the
decision.
ball. Yeah, he can make decisions. Oh, you know who the Browns are going to take the quarterback? The dude from UCLA, DTR.
Oh,
There you go.
God,
Get a little run first guy out there.
Yeah, like he's pretty much like miniature Deshaun Watson. So like it'd be cool developmental project. I'd watch him preseason week 3. Like
He'll also ball out in the XFL.
yeah, but we'll take him for a year or 2 in Cleveland. Like, come on. Let me have that. I don't got many picks this year. I want something fun. Speaking of fun, I think the wide receivers in this draft class are phenomenal.
Look at you with the segue.
Look, yeah, you like that? You like the fun wide receivers?
There we
So
go.
obviously, my guy Jackson Smith-Njigba is the clear number 1, which really sucks that he didn't play last year because like he is awesome, but like that just shows you like how good and like how well respected he is. Like he's still the number 1 receiver prospect after playing like 32 snaps this season. Like he's tested
good.
so well. Like he is that dude. He's such a good route runner. Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, when they were talking in the Rose Bowl against Utah last year, they said, "Oh well, who's going to have the best career out of the group that's there?" And it's Olave, Wilson, Smith-Njigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Ibuka. Like it's just a who's who of college wide receivers there. And Olave and Garrett Wilson said that Jackson Smith-Njigba is by far the best out of those collective 3. And I was like, wow, like I don't see it, but the dude can run routes. So he's the unanimous number 1 in this draft class, but I don't know about like 2 through 5 because there is going to be a wide receiver run tonight. I don't know when it happens. I would say that it's probably starts at 12 for the Texans taking Smith-Njigba. And then apparently there's supposed to be a run. That's what McShay was saying today. That's what everyone's kind of projecting. But I don't know how these receivers line up. Could you guys educate me on who the next guy is? It Johnson? Is it Addison? Like, give me who's after. Because after JSN, I don't really care.
Yeah, spoken by a very biased Ohio State fan.
Oh, you had your Hendon Hooker segment, so let me have this one.
I was fair. I was fair.
I was fair too. Jackson Smith-Njigba played like 30 snaps.
He is the guy.
He's still going to be a top 15 pick.
Ryan, do you want to go with the wide receivers?
I can go if you want. Yeah, weird year for receivers. Like there's good guys, and I would probably say JSN right now is still just a very good, not great in my opinion. And the problem is all of these guys outside of maybe QJ look like they're going to translate into more of a slot receiver versus someone who's going to dominate on the outside like last year's class. I'd say probably you're looking at the run. I would say JSN's probably the clear one. He'll go right in that 11 to 13 range. And then you probably see the run start back up at 20 with the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Seahawks, Chargers, Vikings, Ravens, that range right there is going to be where I'd probably say at least 2 to 3 guys go. But most of the guys in this class, seem to smaller frame, which we haven't really seen in the NFL yet, even though it's kind of trending that way. no one's going to dominate jump ball contention outside of maybe Quentin Johnston, but a lot of smaller, shifty slot type builds that you're going to see probably go in day one and early day two.
Yes, there's a lot of athletic wide receivers.
Is Zay Flowers the clear number 2? Does it feel like?
I think Addison's a clear number 2 to me.
Did he have the ankle injury last year?
Addison?
No. Yes and no. I think a lot of it was kind of acclimating to an offense with Caleb Williams, who even though he is a great passer, is still kind of run first in mindset.
If you really want to see what Addison can do, just look at 2021 with Pitt and Kenny Pickett, right? Because he was pretty much pro stock. It's a pro stock offense, and he was untouchable in the ACC. He obviously went to USC to chase some money and hopefully get his draft class high, which he did. So good on him. Yeah. I have him at 2. Zay Flowers at 3. Quentin Johnston 4. Who else?
Yeah, I would say probably those are the main
and then
4.
And then Hyatt.
Hyatt's probably 5. Downs probably 6.
And then Tillman out of Tennessee as well.
Yeah,
Tillman is actually better than Hyatt. He just had a high ankle injury last year. He had another. If you look at his 2021 season, phenomenal. He high points the ball. He goes towards the ball. He's not a skinny little quick agile. Like I think he ran like a 4.5, but he's going to contend for the ball in the air. But a lot of these wide receivers, the reason why they're undersized is because that's the way the game's going now.
Yeah, especially like the college game. It's so quick, They're running, 85 offensive plays a game.
Mm-hmm. So these coordinators are going to have to obviously adjust towards this, and coordinators like McDaniels and Andy Reid and them, Kingsbury before he got let go. I mean, these guys are starting to acclimate the game from the game. You know what I mean? Like you're looking at you're not looking at big, huge offensive linemen now. You're looking at dudes who are big, but they can go, they can move. Guys who are going to be conditioned. It's just how the game's played. So these wide receivers, I believe they're all very talented. And if they go to the right team, boom, they're there. Zay Flowers, to me, is a steal. He is so freaking good in open space. He just went to Boston College. No one watched him. But he is very good if you watch his stuff. I have him in that, like Ryan said, that 20 to 30. There's some guys going to go inside that, as well as the 11 to like 15. So here's a sneak peek. I got Zay Flowers going. I got him going to the Cowboys.
Oof.
Really?
And that's pretty good.
That's a great fit.
That's a great fit for them.
They need a dude in there.
They needed
Elijah Moore, right?
Yeah. So, all right.
Do we want to talk a little bit about the tight end class, or their tight ends matter?
They do.
I think 3 of them might go in the first round, right?
I would say
got
2.
I got 1, possibly 2 in the first.
Because Mayer's probably going the first off the board, right? Or is it Kincaid?
Or it could be Kincaid.
The talk has been Kincaid the last week or so.
Yeah, it was Mayer. Mayer's your more balanced all around.
He had like a really down year with the whole Notre Dame quarterback problems that they were having, because the dude, he was insane in 2021. If you go back and look at the film, he's a first round pick, and then Darnell Washington is just a physical specimen, 6'7", 275. Are you sure he doesn't play left tackle?
Running a 4.6.
Yeah.
He's just
how is that guy allowed on a football field?
He's a freak. He's a mismatch. Yeah, he's one of those guys where it's just all right, you're big and massive. Let's plug you into our system, see if it works.
Yeah.
you didn't get to play a lot because of Brock Bowers.
Yeah, that's
And then when they used him at Georgia, it was him and Brock Bowers always in the 21 personnel, or they would put him at tight end and Brock Bowers kind of like at the H-back.
Yep.
And they would just run the ball and they would just blow people over because they're so big.
It was unfair. Like poor Vanderbilt trying to tackle them.
Yeah, and it was just like it's what they did. So I don't know if teams are gonna go, man, this guy, phenomenal guy. He knows what he's doing. He's gonna have to learn.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna have to learn a lot about tight end position for sure. I think the most polished tight ends, Myers. Kincaid, though, he's your Kelsey Kittle type guy.
Yeah.
And people want that. And in the right offense, he'll be that guy.
Mm-hmm. Side note on the surprise quarterback, that guy's name that I was talking about, his name's Tyson Bagnet. He's from Shepherd University, 4-year starter. Look him up later and just check out like the numbers. He was literally insane. Like he won back-to-back state titles, and like he just didn't get an offer. Like West Virginia was looking to offer him. And then they pulled the plug like last second. They were never committed to giving him scholarships. So that's why he went Division II. And I guess he was like from that area and he grew up, went to go into Shepherd games. So like it was just home for him. The guy's 6'3", 220. Like he's got good size. Throws a pretty good ball too. Like I think he's definitely going to get drafted. So like it's a fun story. It's a fun draft day story.
Yeah. I definitely hope he finds a team. In the late rounds. That'd be cool for him. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Just kind of finishing up on tight end real quick before we jump over to the next. I could also kind of agree with Nate that you might see only one, maybe two go in the first just because of how deep this class is. Like the top end talent is probably as good as we've seen in a couple of years, but the depth is just as good. You got guys like Laporta, Musgraves, and even Tucker Kraft who could come in as day 2, maybe early day 3 picks and probably fight for a starting spot on a lot of teams in the NFL if they really wanted to.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like the tight end position is just changing in a whole because of how much of an advantage it is when you have like a Kincaid in these offenses in college now. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of tight ends starting. A lot of kids going to tight end, university, tight end, college, these summer camps that these new veterans are on. Yep. Yeah, and these kids they want to be tight ends. Mm-hmm. Like these kids are, and so we're going to see a lot of just really talented tight ends coming in the next 5 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like it's going to be fun to see it because there's going to be so much wealth. Mm-hmm. And I love it fantasy wise because how many times has it been? How many times has it been where there's only like 4 tight ends?
Like it's Kelsey and was Kelsey, Gronk, Mark Andrews, Dallas Clark, Tony Gonzalez. Like
everyone's looking for that next great tight end to plug in on their lineup.
Yep,
absolutely. Yep, that's the thing. I just there's going to be a wealth of riches coming in the next couple of years. Especially in the next 5 with not necessarily running backs, but wide receivers and tight ends.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that was our skill player talk. I mean, I think the quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers is really, the bread and butter. Those are the exciting guys.
Yeah.
But guys in the trenches matter. There's good offensive linemen. There's good defensive linemen. Let's talk about a day 2 or day 3 player that you think could make an impact on a team. That's not really like thought of right now. I got one that I want the Browns to jump all over in day 3. If I'll talk about mine if you guys want to kind of do a little brainstorming on who you think day 3 guy would be good for anyone, but like specifically your team if you want it. For me, I think Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn deserves a chance. Like this guy is electric. He's a grit guy. Like he's glue factory. He can help your team out on special teams. Like he can really get your unit going. And I think that like he's a playmaker. Like yeah, I know he's small, but he's quick. Like you get the ball in his hands, like in out of the backfield. Like I think Deuce Vaughn could be a great player like that you can snag on day 3. But like his just like his charisma and like what he can bring to a locker room, I think is unmatched for like a day 3 like guy coming out of college that is like glue factory. It feels like he has a veteran mindset and like leadership ability, and he's 21, 22 years old. You know, he does all the little things right. He's the guy that's going to go out and, give everything on every single play because he's got to make up for his lack of size. Like that's my guy that I love on day 3.
Yeah. Ryan, you got one?
Yeah, I have 2, and I let you guys give your little college plug. So now it's my turn.
Yeah, do it.
My guy is going to be Jair Brown, Penn State safety. Got to get my Penn State guys in here, especially because there's not many of them in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
But probably looking, if he's lucky, late day 2, probably early to midday 3. Kind of a jack of all trades, little safety out there. Not the most athletic guy, not the biggest, not the hardest hitter, but he kind of does a little of everything. And sometimes those guys stick. Couple guys out there, Adrian kind of comes to mind. Guys that you plug in there, you know what you're getting out of them. You got that leadership factor, 2-year captain at Penn State.
Mm-hmm.
Can pick the ball off, comes into the box, hits well, covers pretty decently. Kind of a nice guy that someone, if they're looking for some secondary help, come in and get a guy a little later in the draft to come in and start right away for them or provide some quality backup minutes.
Yeah, ESPN actually has him rated as like the second best safety behind Brian Branch. So like I don't think it's crazy to think that he is a day 2 pick, second, third round. Like he definitely can sneak in. We've seen that. We've seen a run at safeties in the second round before 2 years ago. Browns and Bucks went back to back safeties with Grant Delpit and Winfield Jr. So those safeties day 2. I mean, I think he can be a day 2 guy.
Him and I'll throw one more name out there as well. Hopefully I don't steal yours, Nate. But Brandon Joseph, safety with Notre Dame. Transferred to Notre Dame this year, was with Illinois the last 2 years. It's kind of faded away a little bit, but came into college like lightning in a bottle. I think 5, maybe 6 interceptions that freshman year for Illinois. So definitely a guy, go out there and play some center field for you. And especially with the league kind of going to a pass first style of offenses, you definitely need to have that kind of center fielder that can go up there and get the ball for you.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's some good ones, man. Those are some real good ones. There is so many talented defenders that I can just like Owen Papo at Auburn. Phenomenal linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Guy's going to probably go in the 4th round, 5th round.
Is he large because the Browns could use a guy that's over 220 pounds to play linebacker?
No, but
he's the opposite.
He's a big dude. He is a great college linebacker. Then you got BJ Orzolari, or whatever his name is. Is he a 2nd round guy? Is he a 3rd round guy? We don't know. Right? The SEC, I can just keep going. Cam Smith, one of the best cornerbacks in the SEC.
One of the best golfers on the tour.
He's a great shutdown cornerback. He took Hyatt out of the game. No one could do that all year, and he did. He is a very good cornerback. There's so many good cornerbacks. What day is he going to go? Then you got Byron Young. Byron Young's story is pretty cool. He's a defensive edge guy for Tennessee. He was working at a Dollar General out of high school because no one offered him anything. He was like, I was working at Dollar General, and he was like, I want to play football. So he ended up going to Georgia College, military college for JUCO.
Yep.
And Georgia didn't even he like killed it at Georgia Military College. University of Georgia was like, well, we can't take you. We're full. So Tennessee said, we'll take you. And he became Tennessee's one of their best pass rushers and edge guys for the last 2 years.
Nice.
He ran a 4.4. He's like 6'3", like two.
I think he's 250. I think they have him listed.
Yeah, 4'4", 250, and he plays low.
Yeah.
Like whatever team he ends up on, he's gonna push for time.
Yeah. Another DN that I like. I think we've talked about this name before, Ryan. Tuli, the dude from USC.
Yeah, he's good. Tuipulotu.
I can't wait until the Browns draft him and they just botch the name on stage because that was horrendous. I could probably get 50 attempts and I would fail all 50. So if they don't draft him like Zach Harrison, I'll take Zach Harrison as a comp,
as a consolation pick.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you can't get the name right, like just don't pick the guy.
Yeah.
You're not can't play him right, you're not going to play him right, so it doesn't matter.
Another name like that, Henry To'oTo'o.
Yeah, great linebacker.
Great linebacker. Any team would love him. He's a solid guy. Obviously, he went to Tennessee, then transferred to Alabama, so I did not like that. Yeah. But he is a really good, very good, solid linebacker.
I would like a linebacker over 195 pounds on the Browns.
Then you probably want
he would look good in Brown.
Him or even Noah Sewell.
Sewell, yep.
I like him. He's 245. I'll even honestly, who I liked a lot watching him in the playoffs? TCU guy, D Winters. He's a little undersized at 5'11", but he's a sturdy 5'11", 230. So I'll take him. That's above 225. Probably plays a little bit heavier because he's he's so stocky. But the dude was just getting everywhere around the ball, just tackling. Like, just make the tackle is my problem.
Here's the one, Andre Carter II.
That name has come up so many times in mock drafts to the Browns that they might as well just like put the jersey on him already.
He is literally
he's the Army guy.
Browns DNA. Like,
does he test well? He tests well on analytics. Then
he's a big boy.
He's the
DN.
No, he's a linebacker.
Yeah, he's a
linebacker.
Yeah, I know.
6'7", 250.
He's a beast.
Yep.
He's a beast.
I keep hearing about him. Like,
he's a blue collar guy. Right, Noella.
Let's see. Combine result: 35-inch vert, 9-foot broad. Only bench pressed 11 reps though.
That's okay. Can he make a tackle? He's a smart guy. He's in the military, right?
He is in the military. He had 15
so he's got to be smart.
Last year.
Yeah, the Browns were probably all over him. They probably have been scouting him for like 3 years.
Linebackers like him that go to the service academy, they're the guys you want on your team. They're the guys. They're a foundational piece,
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he was just that good to actually, like they said, if he didn't go to Army, he went somewhere else, he would be easily in the top 50 players in this draft right now.
Mm-hmm.
But because he went to Army, this is what it is.
Crazy. It'd be cool. Draft the Army guy. Come to Cleveland, blue collar town.
So is your blue collar town. Like, he's the DNA of the town.
Let's see. Do we got anything that you want to specifically wrap with here, Nate?
What about guys you think are moving way too far up boards that need to kind of take a pause and slide back down to earth?
The overdrafted guy.
The overdrafted guy.
The overdrafted guy, is Will Levis.
He
is atrocious. Like, there's no way that this guy should be picked in the top 15. Like, I've heard people say that he shouldn't be picked in the first round at all if you actually watch the film. Like, Not to mention the film. He eats bananas with the peel on. He puts mayonnaise in his coffee. Like, you want that? You want that guy to be a franchise quarterback? Absolutely not. Like, get him out of here. Get him out of here.
So here, I'll throw a name out.
You know what? Mark that down at the 50-minute mark, Nate. I want that. I want that as a clip. Get Will Levis out of here.
I got you. I got you, man.
All right, here I got a good bust for you. Ready for this one? Coming back to SEC country, Emmanuel Forbes, the kid from Mississippi.
Cornerback, Mississippi State.
I think seems to be a ball hawk. He's got good length. Problem is, I can't see a corner being 166 pounds at the combine, let alone playing weight, probably being lighter.
Wow.
Coming in and trying to be a shutdown day one draft pick.
They like to play a lot of press man because we took Emerson out of Mississippi State last year, but he's a bigger guy. Yeah, he's like 6'1". Like, I think he was playing at like 190 last year. Like, Emerson's a big mofo. Like,
it's kind of crazy when you got me thinking Devontae Smith might be able to outbody someone for a ball.
Put him in cowboy country.
I love it. He tested really well. The problem is just that 160.
Yeah, he's too small.
Okay.
I
can't see him lasting.
I can get behind that. What's his name again? Emmanuel Forbes. Get him out of here too. Get him out of here.
Yep. I think. Let's see.
Who else am I looking at that I think is moving way too far up?
I know this sounds stupid, but Will Anderson didn't do anything to impress me last year.
Yeah, I feel like he might have just went on like cruise control.
I think so too. Like he really did not do anything last year except just like show up.
Yeah.
Like he showed up, he did his thing, he went home. Like Darnell Wright in the Tennessee game literally had his number.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Texas game, the Texas freshman left tackle, who Will Anderson could have just done anything to, only had like one sack on Ewers.
You know who else I want to say? I don't think he's flying up people's boards, but he just does not look like a football player. And he's probably a real nice kid, so I hate to do this to him, but get Lucas Van Ness out of here.
I was literally going to say, he
looks like he should be doing my taxes, okay?
He's a big, tall.
He's a big boy.
He looks too nice. He's too nice. Like, I'm sure that he's got a nice 401k. I'm sure that his investments are going very, very well from his NIL money that he got from Nationwide and the National Bank.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, he'll get drafted. In my head, I'm like, how bad Iowa was last year on offense. Their defense was solid. The best player on that defense was the linebacker. It's the Campbell kid.
Yeah, Jack Campbell.
But because of Van Ness being so big and tall and how he plays, just coaches, they just ooze for that type of stuff. Like, oh, he's so big and tall, I can train him.
Yeah, I can fix him. I can fix him. Like,
yeah,
get him out.
Hold on. Here's my should be going higher, but it's such a heavy draft. Jahmyr Gibbs. Mm-hmm. Whatever team picks him up is in whatever system. If Miami takes him, oh my God. Like, the guy's so freaking good. He's so good. He's an Alvin Kamara clone. I think he's faster than Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, he's quick. He ran him.
He's very fast.
Kamara's going to go to prison, so.
Yeah, well, he would probably end up – if Gibbs probably ends up in New Orleans. I mean, it makes sense.
It could happen.
It could happen. He's very good. Josh Downs is also very good. I know we didn't talk about him.
Yeah.
He's a very good.
Tyler Scott is also on my radar. He's flying up.
Like, Gibbs is going to give somebody a really good second-round love.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that.
There's a lot of talent, but the overrated to me would probably be Lucas Van Ness, just because he's big and lanky.
Too nice.
And too nice. And then Everybody else is solid. Then Will Levis. I mean, we've already talked about that.
All right.
I will say this: the night is going to be awesome. So hopefully, by the time that this episode, that everyone listens to it, we're about like 6-7 hours before the draft.
Yeah.
So everyone, enjoy your night, unless you're a Browns fan, because we'll go to bed early. Because Andrew Barry told us you can go to bed early on Thursday night. So if you don't have picks, still enjoy the first round. And enjoy the second round too, even if you don't have any picks. I will see you guys on the stage at about 10:45 p.m. Friday night as the Browns make their first pick at pick 74.
Beautiful. It'll be a wonderful pick.
Before you guys go, for our betting fans out there, locked in, this guy's going to this team in the first round. Who is it? Outside
my
of
first round lock.
Is it Paris Johnson to the Cardinals?
Is that your pick?
No.
Oh, you're saying like make a pick.
Yeah, make a pick.
Lock in a pick. Geez, way to put me on the spot. who do you have your lock? Because you are probably ready.
All right, I'll throw a name out here. I'm gonna go to the Vikings. I'm going to say they pass on QB for now, and they're going to lock in and get a number 2 to go next to JJ, and they're going to go get Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison to the Vikings is your lock.
Maybe not where they're at now, but that will be my lock of a pick.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. My lock, now that they have Aaron Rodgers, it's Jets with Broderick Jones. They're just going to protect him. That's my lock. Like number 15, Broderick Jones.
I'm going to go the Bears at number 9. I don't know if they pick at 9 or if they trade up a couple spots to get him, but lock in Paris Johnson to the Bears. Protected Justin Fields in college before. Justin Fields likes him a lot. I think it's possible.
That's a good one. See, the Bears, to me, they can get him or Peter Skoronski.
Yeah.
Because it's a hometown kid, Northwestern.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like they're gonna get Paris or Peter, in my opinion.
If the Cardinals pick at 3, apparently Paris Johnson is on the board, but I don't believe it. I don't think they're picking.
No, I got Tyree Wilson at 3.
Yep.
And then last question for you guys: team most likely to trade out of the first round completely.
Completely trade out of the first round.
Trading out of the first round entirely. I could see. Well, does it really count if the Chiefs are the last pick in the first round?
I mean, if that's the pick you want to make,
I could see.
I'm kind of leaning towards the Saints.
I was gonna say the Saints could go back if they're going. I have them going for an edge rusher at 29, but they can also get an edge rusher in the second round.
Yeah, I'll say the Chiefs. I don't think the Chiefs pick. I think someone comes up and snags Hendon Hooker at 31, so get that 5th-year option.
I would say either the Saints or I'm going to throw this dart out there, but Bills are going to make a trade for D-Hop, and it's going to involve their first.
All right.
Mark it. Book it.
Book it. I love it. I love the enthusiasm of that. With that, Nate's computer died, so he's a little frozen here. But Ryan, thank you for joining, and enjoy Thursday night. I know that that you have 2 picks. I'm very happy for you.
Love it.
But as the Rams have said before, fuck them picks. So enjoy them, but I will not be picking. So I will try to enjoy with you. But I will enjoy Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm sure that we will be talking.
All righty, my man.